I'm the pastor of Saint Sarkis Church in Dallas, Texas, and we're actually the parish for all of North Texas, um, Oklahoma, and a little bit of Arkansas. So we take Armenians in from all over there.
There are lately we've been so busy with Armenia, with Karabakh, and the tragedy we experienced over there. And
Yeah,
then we experienced something on the news, and this has to do with the snow in Texas. The images we're getting today is just unbelievable, incredible. I mean, we've never seen anything like it. Could you
right.
give us an idea of how are you handling the situation?
Yes. So I don't think anyone expected it to be the way it is now. Um, Back on Saturday, when there was news that the storm was headed this way and it would start on Sunday, everyone went to the grocery stores and everyone went to go get the food, and there were long lines. Just I grew up in New Jersey, so I'm used to having before a snowstorm, everyone goes and stocks up on food. Um, but then Sunday came and it wasn't as bad until Sunday night into Monday, when the temperatures dropped down to around, I think it was 0 or 2 degrees. Um, and that was just plain temperature, not with the wind chill included. And apparently, unbeknownst to many people here in Texas, or at least to me, I was unaware of this, that most of the heating is hooked up with the electricity. So when the electrical grid goes down or is frozen and unable to work, the heat goes out also. So that was what happened on Monday, and I remember because Monday we had all of the clergy in the Eastern Diocese. It was the first day of Lent, and we were having a meeting with Vehapar through Zoom.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and I remember halfway through the meeting, my internet went out, and I didn't know what was going on. And then I was able to come back on through my phone. And then later on, we realized that the internet was out because all the electricity was out for the entire neighborhood. Now, the good thing is there are many Armenians and many Texans that have not lost electricity, but there are many more that have. And the homes here, unfortunately, are not built for sub-zero temperatures.
Sure.
Um, and as a result, the electricity goes out, the heat goes out, and then the pipes start to burst.
Oh,
And this has been the problem with many parishioners. Many pipes have burst in their homes and flooded. The church, in fact, this past week in the kitchen, the pipes burst, and we had the fire department came and was able to turn that off for us along with some parishioners. But the other issue is, unlike the north, we don't have necessarily plows or
so far.
salters, sanders, or even shovels.
Sure.
I don't own a shovel. I haven't owned a shovel in 10 years since moving here because there's never been a point to have a shovel. So what ends up happening is the roads start to melt, and at nighttime when it freezes, it all becomes ice. And so we've been driving on icy roads. Thankfully, today was a little bit warmer. Today it was in the 30s, but still, that's cold for us. But as a result, we're making do with best we can. Many of my neighbors and many parishioners have been helping each other. Whoever has water, they share their water. Whoever has, we have a gas stove, so we've opened our home to some of our neighbors and others who have had to come and cook food. But we're back, as you can see, electricity, lights are on. Since Wednesday, we've had electricity and we've had heat again. But the first night was a tough night for many people. Our home, I can tell you, the inside temperature was 47 degrees because outside was zero, -5, I think it was. And so the inside was much colder than usual. But we were able to huddle up together, my daughter, my wife, and I, and we were able to survive the night.
What is the most difficult thing when we see images of people waiting in line, getting
Hmm.
water, vaccine stations converted to stations for water distribution?
Hmm.
I mean, this is America. This is 2021. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very, very difficult for us to accept it. So much so, I reached out to you and you were so kind enough to give us this interview.
Yes. I think the biggest difficulty right now is, besides the water situation and providing water, because not many of us are used to having to boil water or having to, what's the word I'm looking for? When they ration the water. I've gotten updates, and a lot of people in our town have gotten updates not to use water too long for washing dishes, for doing clothing, and all these things. I think the biggest issue right now is just trying to get back on track. Getting back on track and being able to help each other. It's one thing to have this situation with the water shortages and the electricity, but then also compounded with COVID. We still have to keep our distances. We still have to be able to go to the stores to get food, but also keep our distance and be aware of vaccinations that are going on and being able to achieve that,
Sure.
and also being able to help those that are sick. Thankfully, we're healthy. Many of my parishioners are healthy, but there are many others that are sick at this time and are not able to
Sure.
perform the best that they can in this situation.
Was there any parishioner who reached out to you
Yes.
desperate? What kind
Yeah.
of?
So there have been parishioners that have reached out, some of them because their pipes have broken and they've been looking for help. Others who have no heat and are looking for firewood.
Oh my.
For firewood or something just to burn. Thankfully, that parishioner who needed firewood found firewood from some of her neighbors and some other people in the area. But that's one of the biggest things now. If you have a fireplace, what can you burn? What are you able to produce heat with? Again, most of us are back on schedule. There are still I think there's about 2 or 3 million that still do not have electricity, and many more that do not have running water, or at least drinkable, potent water, which is an issue. And it's something that I think our government officials will take into consideration. I hope they will for the future, but also as Christians, to be willing to step up and say, you know what, I have something I'm willing to share with you. And this is, I don't think it's, I like the Armenian word nachacha namutun. It's providence that this happened the first week of Lent.
Yeah.
That, you know, to really take into consideration that we are going into a period of prayer and thoughtfulness and how we have to prepare for this.
What is more important to going through this experience? Is it the heat in the house, or is the lack of water? Which of these two? It's a tough.
Personally, yeah, personally, we have not had the experience of having a shortage of water, but I would probably say it's a double-edged sword. It's a double-edged sword. I'm okay with having freezing cold temperatures outside if there's heat in the house. But if there's no heat in the house, then that doesn't help.
Of course.
At the same time, I can have all the heat in the house, but if I can't be hydrated and drink water, take a shower, wash my hands. I mean, with COVID, washing hands is crucial. If I don't have that, that's also a problem. I think they go hand in hand.
You know, you mentioned Lent. We are in the first week of Lent.
Mhm,
We are many times we think of what is important, or
mhm,
the church reminds us to think of what is more important for us. What is the
mhm.
lesson? What is most important for
I
us?
Yeah, I think the most important thing, and what my sermon for this Sunday is going to be, is about not taking things for granted.
Uh-huh.
You know, living in America, many of my parishioners are from overseas. Many of them have experienced this coming from Armenia and the collapse of the Soviet Union. So this is not new to them. They said they've done this for 4 years in Armenia. Others who have survived through the wars in Lebanon and other places, this
Right.
is not new to them. But being in America, we sort of get shipatsats, you know, get a little spoiled. We get used to having running water all the time, heat at the click of a switch, at the flick of a switch, light constantly.
Sure.
I mean, the 2 nights that we were here, went to bed with candlelight because that's all we had. And so it's one of those things where you don't know what you have until you don't have it. You don't we take things too much for granted, and how all these blessings really are from God, and how we have to really take that into consideration and also help those who don't have these blessings. We
Mm,
didn't have them for 2 or 3 days and we're all up in arms. There are many other people who have them or don't have them at all, and how much we have to help them with that. So,
Father Ghevond, it is Friday night here in New York.
mhm,
We are following the news. I was so upset at what I was watching. I said, I have to reach somebody
mm,
in Texas, and you responded to our email so quickly. And I'm very happy to see you in terms of in a warm house. You
thank
have
you.
no problems. It makes us feel better. I know there are many others suffering in the area, very
Mhm,
big time. There are houses that are frozen inside the
mhm.
house, houses that are on fire, and these are the
Yep.
images we're getting. In general, could you give us a quick idea about the Armenian community,
Mhm.
size, where they are from,
Yep.
etc.?
So our community was founded in the 1980s. Most of them, if not all of them, are from overseas.
Yes.
We have very few native-born Armenian Texans, we'll say, from that generation. Most of them are either from overseas or from other places like New York or California or Chicago. Um, we have about 550 families that are connected with the church. I know we've done research, and with Armenian last names, we have about 1,700 households that have Armenian last names. That's not including Russian, Russified Armenian or Russified names, Turkish last names, or Armenians that married Americans. Um, but it's growing. Every week we have a new family, mostly moving from California.
Mm.
Most of them are moving from California. Every week we have a new family. Or on our Facebook page, we have a family that's writing to us saying, we're interested in coming to Texas. Where can we move in the Dallas area? What cities are nice for children? Where can we get a job? Um, but we have Armenians from all over, from Iran, from Turkey, from Egypt, from Lebanon, from Armenia, from Russia, from Argentina, and then a lot from Canada that have moved here, and a lot from California, New York, Massachusetts, Chicago, Detroit, all over the place. I think it's because of the business and the economy has been so well during the downturn of the economy in 2008 during the recession. But along with that, we have no, unlike the North, and I don't mean to put down the North because I'm from there, but we have no history. We have no, we have no one that says this is how it's always been done, so this is how we're going to do it.
Okay, it's a fresh way.
Everyone who moves here is brand new. We
Well,
all are immigrants to Texas, myself included, and so we're all willing to work together to make a better
maybe we
community.
should all move to Texas and then come
Come on down. We'd love to have anyone who wants to move to Texas, and if you want to just visit, we're here for you too. But we love it, and we hope and pray that Texas gets better, the United States gets better, uh, Armenia and Artsakh, and the entire world just gets better from where we are right now.